This is pretty cool, isn't it? Where you can get this kind of multi-generational presence here, right? It's neat because any kind of meeting where you can come in and talk about estate planning and the end of your adult life at the beginning, and then wind up celebrating the launch of the adult life in the evening and everything in between. So it's a privilege for me to be invited here as a retired Navy officer and somebody who sat in your shoes at one point finishing up high school and about to embark on your lives as adults. On a foundation of achievement, you've begun that journey. You've separated yourself. You've established yourself as a performer among your peers. You've broken out. So congratulations to you, Jose, to you, Georgia, to you, Emma, on your accomplishments so far. To your families, congratulations. You raised them right in a period of time. Yeah, give it up for the parents. At a time when it's crucially important to do so. So you've started out your lives in JROTC. Some of you will go on to serve in the military. I know Emma, you and I were talking about potential service in the Marine Corps at some point. I know, Jose, you're looking at that. Some are not. You know, George is looking at some neat opportunities that might wind up with her doing biomedical research of all things in the Department of Defense. Oh, with everything that's going on with AI, I'm glad you're going to be at the helm. But you're targeting very, I don't know, interesting paths ahead. Now, when you launch into those places and you wind up at Drake, when you wind up at UTA, when you wind up at Norwich, you're going to encounter people who are going to give you tips. The gouge. Here's how it's done here. This is the skinny. I'm going to give it to you here too, but I'm going to call it what it is. Unsolicited bad advice. So let's just kick it right off. When I got to the Navy, one of the first things I was told was Navy stands for never again volunteer yourself. Now that sounds initially like, okay, that's probably good advice. Don't get it over my head. I followed it some, and when I did, I missed opportunities. I missed opportunities to get my parachute wings and jump out of airplanes. When I stopped listening to that bad advice, I learned how to scuba dive. I learned how to sail. I met the best man, the man that would be the best man at my wedding. Never again volunteer yourself is some of the worst life advice I was ever given. Volunteer yourself all the time to the capacity that you have to take on new things, learn new things. When they're put in front of you, learn new things. Bad advice was ill-intended, or was well intended, but just bad advice. So take everything the world throws at you within the capacity you have. You may find opportunities where you've got to delay it because you're full, but don't lose it. Go back and do it. So never again volunteer yourself. The first piece of bad advice I got. The second piece of bad advice I got was, look, just be quiet. Don't ask any questions. We'll all be out of here by lunch, right? Don't ask any questions. Now, okay, there's another piece of advice that they try to give you that says, there's no such thing as a dumb question. That's not true. There are definitely dumb questions. But don't ask any questions. What does that leave on the table? The thing that's missing most in our leadership in the private sector, in the government sector, and in the nonprofit sector is curiosity. Leaders who are curious are always learning. Leaders who are curious are always asking questions, thoughtful questions. So don't let an opportunity go by where you're having somebody speak to you about something that interests you at a very deep level. Don't let that opportunity go by without asking the questions you want to get answered. Ask thoughtful questions. Cool?
Yes.
Okay, so two bad pieces of advice we have put to rest right now. Don't worry, I got lots of bad advice, so there's more. Look, don't get into that right now. Just focus on one thing at a time. That sounds like reasonable advice, doesn't it? Focus on one thing at a time. The problem is that's not how life comes at you. Life doesn't come at you delivering your academic life here and waiting until 6 months later to offer you up your spouse, to bring up the opportunity you have to lead your organization. Right? Those things come at you sometimes all at once. So what do you need to learn how to do as you embark on your careers? You need to learn how to prioritize. You need to learn to make those decisions about what's important and be able to handle things in the order the priorities come in. But putting things off too much before you get your grades down, we're gonna knock that out next year, can a lot of times result in missed opportunity. You all have already established yourselves as really smart people who have initiative and are inspired. Don't let the opportunities pass you by. Take them up and get at them when you can, especially when you're young and full of zeal. Use that time in your lives to make those changes because you are forging your future. Your legacy doesn't start when you finish school. Your legacy doesn't start at the end of your first tour. Your legacy doesn't start with that first job you land. Your legacy started when you walked in that door, when you walked up to pick up this opportunity that MOA is giving you to invest in your future. Your legacy starts now. And you're forging with everything you do, with every friend you make, with every decision you make. And we'll talk a little bit about how to make that a little clearer at the end. Oh, here's a good piece of bad advice I got. Look out for number one. Okay. People are going to try to scam you. People are going to try to get something over on you. Look out for number one. Now, on the surface, that sounds like pretty good advice, doesn't it? Because people are going to try to scam you. Are you going to get scammed at some point in your life? You bet. Are you going to meet your best friend at some point in your life? Are you going to walk into the opportunity that's going to you're going to build a career on in your next life? You are. And how do you do that? How do you meet those kind of people? It's not looking at for number one, it's sharing with others. You all have much to give. You're smart. You might find yourself in a situation to tutor somebody who's less accomplished than you. You will lead your organizations and give those organizations the gift of your leadership, of your inspiration. You'll have opportunities to share of yourself, of your time, of your talent, of your intelligence, of your energy. Share that because that's how you meet those people. That's how you meet those opportunities. I don't want to tell you not to focus on grades because you need to stay enrolled in the school you're in or to make the dean's list or whatever lofty challenges you've set for yourself to achieve. But you're also going to meet the people that are going to be part of your life for the rest of your life. You're going to meet the maid of honor at your wedding or the best man at your wedding. You're going to meet your best friend. You're going to meet people that are going to be sitting at tables like this when Gen Z are the ones handing out the checks to the generations that come. More of your life is in front of you. As much of your life as is behind you. As many great friends as you have. As many things as you've done. As much as you put in wearing those uniforms you're wearing. The bulk of your life is ahead of you. Most of those people lie in the journey that you're embarking on now. Share of yourself, give of yourself, let others see that aspect of you, and you'll never come up empty. So looking out for number one is a pretty limited piece of advice. So how do I make a good decision? Oh, wow. Because people always say, right? All you parents, make smart decisions, right? Yeah, make smart decisions. I got the same advice, and I used to wonder, what does that mean? How do I do that? How do I make a smart decision? I'll give you the magic lens to look at it through, at least in my experience, because that's all I can share with you is my experience. When the question comes up, should I do this or should I not do this? The lens to look at it through is this. Will doing that make me the woman I want to be, the man I want to be? Will participating in that program, will doing that activity, will going out with this person, will that contribute to me becoming the person I want to be? Because you're in the driver's seat. Every decision you make is yours. Whether you're going to blow off studying for a test, whether you're going to pass up on an opportunity to do something over the summer, whether you're going to take that job or leave that job on the table for somebody else, all that is forging in you the person that you will be. The families you will raise, the friends you will surround yourself with, the circle of faith you'll become a part of, the neighborhoods that you'll inhabit. All that you're forging now with the decisions that you made. So the litmus test for all these decisions is, will this help me achieve becoming the person I want to be? The answer that's no. It's pretty easy. Sometimes you got to say no. And sometimes it can be hard to say no. Somebody's encouraging you, or the group is going along with it. You're in the driver's seat. Okay. Volunteer yourself. Ask questions. Look out for others. And ask yourself the hard question: is this going to shape me into the leader I want to be? It was a blessing to be able to sit down today. I got to meet all three of the honorees. I got to spend some time with them and her family over here at this table. At a period of time when people in my generation and those that follow me tend to look at new generations critically, it's neat to sit at a table with these families and with these young people and reflect on the fact that I think maybe this generation's underrated. And you all are representative of some of the finer pieces of it. So thanks for being who you are. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to stand up here and pontificate about silly stuff and pass on to you some unsolicited bad advice. But at least I labeled it for what it is. And then we talked about what's the better option. I tell you what, I don't have a lot more. I'd love to open it up for any questions if you have anything or you want to talk about anything in particular. Or I'll just put down the microphone and shut up and we can all get on.
I have a question.
Fire away.
What do you think AI is going to do to our future?
Well, if you follow Elon Musk's Twitter account, he thinks it's got the potential to end it.
Yeah.
Which is a little scary. It's funny you asked that question. Of all things, I am not a big technology buff. I enjoy my technology and I use it in my daily work and life, but I don't follow it a lot. I'm not a technologist by trade. But I was thinking on the way over here about AI. And it was funny to think about, well, AI really can't do anything without the means of production, right? To create anything that's going to do us any harm. But then I thought, we've already done it for them. They've gone, all they've got to do is have access to it. It's pretty crazy. Is it powerful? Yeah. Is it changing everything? Yeah. I mean, every time you get a resume now from somebody, you've got to assume it was written by somebody other than who handed it to you. By an intelligence that's not biological. It's kind of crazy. These young folks probably have a better idea about where it's going than I do. I just know what I read. Any other questions? Anybody else want to talk about anything else? MOAA, thanks for the opportunity. Appreciate what you all do. Keep doing it. And to the three honorees, Godspeed.